I want to start this essay by saying I don't enjoy the characters in Wintertide, and those that I do are few and far between. This video will serve as a critique as much as it will serve as a character creation guide to the people that don't need Subway Surfers to continue watching this video in its entirety. So, what's up with the characters in Wintertide? Is the question I myself and people I know ask themselves when seeing characters blender or flatter than a cardboard cutout, that resort to saying goofy one-liners, or their personality revolving around a single thing like they're the Chunko Pop enthusiast from Cruelty Squad. But enough of ranting, what is exactly the issue? The lack of creativity, for example. I'd like to see characters that are more grim, if you want to call them edgy or edgelords, have at it. But if the lore portrays the game as this grim, twisted reality with horrible eldritch horrors, the last thing I want to see is a friendly moth or weird fetishized droid. You know what? I really find it hard to believe that Chat thinks the game is grimmer than past titles like Overcast or Mirage. With the amount of goofy and wacky characters I see walking around, I do come to question if Chad does even play the game himself. And I'm not saying that Mirage is better or worse, I'm just saying that, despite how flawed the game was, it felt more harsh and depressing, especially due to the minimal amount of players that actually went out of their way to make the game fun with their unique characters. But enough of the problem. What's the solution? Creativity. Creativity is such a simple thing, but it's literally the key for good characters. If you want to make something, go ahead. It feels obvious because it literally is, but people don't want to pick up on it, or simply wish to ignore it as a possibility. Of course, if you're gonna make it, do it in a proper manner, like make your character complex and have a proper reason to exist. Don't overuse things like dark grey mutants. Look, I'm not saying that the trope or general idea of dark skin or light skin mutants or whatever they are exactly unoriginal, but at least give them a signature look, like, something that could also play into their speech or even sights or anything else. I really love stuff like that, but this is not the way to make that. Of course, you can always make it. In fact, I encourage that. But if you're gonna make them a regular one-to-one copy of other character, why bother? It is completely fine to take inspiration, but outright copy and pasting the same character, only with a different gender, name, or bio, isn't the same thing. Give it your own spin. I don't know, maybe like you could say the character is a half-breed and has actual deformities, rather than looking like a loaded character with horns. And again, I'm not saying that half-breeds can't have horns, but just don't do the same thing like everyone else and put little devil horns on your e-boy half-breed mutant. Give us more of this rather than this. As a whole, I think mutant characters can share similarities, but shouldn't share the same tropes. Like, it's boiled down to a point where I feel like I'm playing Lota with the amount of blue or red horned people I see walking around Sunrise. Inspiration is also another keyword easily thrown around. If ATF 8 is meant to be grimmer than prior games like Overcast or Mirage, and so on, then take inspiration from those who are at their lows and constantly are at their worst, but something keeps them doing what they do. Be it power, money, murder, it's generally something that should be considered for your character. For example, James Sunderland from Silent Hill 2, a strange and awkward man who came to an abandoned town looking for his wife, only to be sent down in a rabbit hole. His choices in game decide his fate in the end. Like, I love stuff like this. I want to see stuff like this implemented into actual characters. I think that's the best way to describe what, realistically, more grim character would have as a reason to go to Sunrise. You don't need to exactly look for your wife or a family member. It's an idea, but you could be looking for something else. Say you're a man who sailed across the mainland in search of a place called the Sunrise Isles, which was, I don't know, advertised to you as this like peaceful, remote place where you could like live the rest of your life and retire. Only when you arrive within it, you realize you were drawn into a lie by, like, I don't know, NEU propaganda or someone. Like, I love stuff like that. I love those ideas. An actual reason for a foreign character to come into the Isles. Something I'd like to mention as well is the large amount of Mirage faction members, like the SEALs or even 4K Warhammer fanboys. which are literally all composed by the quintessential soymen and LARPers who were likely never even in the skills back in Mirage or Overcast to begin with. I must say that my guilty pleasure is fighting these guys' existence, since it's Autolite LARP, and I won't take part in Mirage roleplay inside of Winter Tide. But parody characters go beyond this, and I must say, depending on how they're executed, they can be either good or just a copy and paste of whatever anime character you want to implement into Wintertide. If you take inspiration of a character, say something like Asa Clark from Dead Space, you can have an enjoyable character with a flaw like being a schizoid or traumatized by the horrors of Sunrise. But if you were to just copy and paste his entire character, only changing necromorphs into eldritches and the space station for some, I don't know, random place in Sunrise, you'll have a boring Albanian version of the protagonist from Dead Space. Handicaps and flaws are something I'd also like to see a lot. Like I mentioned in my prior video, they can really make and sell a character to others, making them feel believable in a game that slowly and slowly is becoming less and less based around its real life boundaries. Maybe your character could have, I don't know, one less arm, meaning their goal could be to buy or get a prosthetic to trading their way up. Maybe they could be addicted to something, be it drinking, gambling, or even their past. You could also have those things reflect that in your character. If your character loves drinking, have him look less like a man who openly cares about his looks. If he is a slave to his work, have him wear his old rugged attire, and the list goes on. Have their traits and flaws reflect on their appearance. Put yourself in the shoes of your character during specific situations and take into consideration what they would do in a specific moment rather than what you would do in that scenario. Don't feel blocked or halted because someone has done it before. Like I said, you can do something similar, but just put your own twist on it instead of taking everything from others. The last thing I'd like to add in the end is it's that it's up to you to decide whether you want to make something unique and complex or flat out boring and overdone. It may seem like I'm giving you the illusion of choice, but it really is that the choice. You can make a character, but you don't want to? That's completely fine by you. You do you. But I hope in some way or another I changed your way of thinking about character creation, especially when it comes to creativity.
Screenshot, 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 screenshot.